You listened to him on the KVJ show for years. Every time he tried to talk sports, he'd get shut down. After years of begging, we finally gave in. Brought to you by Bremen Motor Cars in West Palm and Jupiter. A world-class experience. Visit BremenBMW.com. And by Wellington Anti-Aging. Low T? Go to WellingtonAntiAging.com. It's Kevin's Other Show on 640 The Hurricane.
Yeah, what's up? Welcome to Tuesday here. Now, I think Diener finally got our podcasting all figured out. Now, this is exciting stuff.
Yes.
We're going to week into it. Here we go. We got podcasting, baby.
And it's only Tuesday, so at least I got it before Wednesday.
Okay.
All right?
This is what we've done. This is our seventh show.
Seventh show.
Okay. The podcasting is up and cranking now.
We got it.
Yeah. If you don't know, you could be listening right now on 640 WMEN, The Hurricane. That's going to be here in 3 and 6 o'clock most days. But then on days where we decide to throw up Big Ten basketball, you can check us out on YouTube. Just search for Kevin's Other Show, and then any kind of podcasting app. We're going to be there every single day on demand.
Yes, now we are, because in a code tougher than the Da Vinci Code itself, I was finally able to figure out Podbean and get our stuff up and going.
Okay.
You know, so now I think we're good now.
Okay.
The Da Vinci Code, really?
Yes.
It's Podbean, bro.
Look, it was really difficult. I didn't see you trying it, all right?
How confident are you? Like, how confident would you, what would you put on the line to risk that this whole thing isn't blown up? Because, yeah, if we get like 80 emails, be going, hey, man, like, what happened? I thought Diener was on this.
Well, what you have to do is start giving out his email. Stop giving out your email so he's the one that gets harassed.
Maybe it is.
It's a good idea.
Are you confident enough that you would put your
phone number out there?
Yep.
Phone number?
Yeah.
There's that 1% of me that always thinks there's always something I can screw up on.
Okay.
So I want to say 99% confident at this point that we're all set.
You know what I think? Okay, this is what it is. It's every
good.
number except for the last digit. If tomorrow we get the emails and it's all screwed up,
Yes.
Diener's complete phone number minus one digit,
One digit.
and you'll figure it out.
That's fair.
Why
Okay.
don't we let him select which digit it is?
okay.
Okay.
I feel like that's pretty good.
All right.
That's fair. If it's not fixed,
Still the
something
same
goes
odds
wrong.
as somebody finding it. It's just 9 calls and you're
Yeah,
going to get
I
it.
was going to say,
Either
you got
way, it doesn't-
nine numbers to figure it out.
Yeah.
I'm willing to do that.
Couple numbers to throw at you from yesterday. Some of the questions that we asked here on Kevin's Other Show. One was about Derek Jeter, talking about all the ladies that he's dated back in the day. The realistically most impressive dating resume of all time with Jessica Biel, Vanessa Manillo, Adriana Lima, Jessica Alba,
Scarlett Johansson. ScarJo.
What is more impressive? 3 choices. Number 1, his dating resume, list of hookups, 55%. And we all agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Raise my hand on that
I
one.
voted. I said yes.
Yes.
That was even over his playing career. 36% of the vote for that. And his ownership skills, who voted on that? He got 9% of the vote on that.
People
much?
actually voted that.
9%?
They had to be Yankees fans.
I was going to
Must be.
say.
who are happy that Stanton is in New York. That's the only way that works out.
Huge Yankee fans.
Yeah. Okay, so that was the numbers on that. We also had the breakdown on which South Florida golfer is going to be the next to win a major. 45% of the votes on 640 The Hurricane Twitter said Justin Thomas. 45% of the vote
I think
there.
it was kind of a landslide.
Yeah, I mean, big question, though, was Tiger, who you put in last place out of the
did.
5 we had.
Yeah.
He was in third in the voting here.
Good.
Really?
Justin Thomas with 45% of the vote. 27% of people said Ricky Fowler, the next South Florida golfer to win a major. Tiger Woods with 18%, and then Dustin Johnson and Rory McIlroy tying with 10%.
What happened to Rory, by the way? I mean, that guy was he was the man for a couple of years and just nothing.
You see some of these golfers that just seem like they're right on the cusp, but then they can just blow up, and they always seem to have, I mean, because you think about it, it's a consistency of 4 days.
Yeah.
And it would be interesting to see if you could reshuffle the numbers, how many great 3-day golfers there are, but always have percentage-wise that one day
They just topple everything over for you.
Yeah, Sergio, I can't tell you how many tournaments I had seen him always like at the end. And
That's
you're
a good
going,
one.
Is this finally the one he's going to win? And just, I don't know what happens, man.
Sinkhole.
Yeah, that's a good one. I think Sergio Garcia is the best 3-day golfer of all time.
Yeah. So
You're right.
If there's any nerds out there who want to break down that number for us, I'd be kind of curious to see exactly. Yeah, because I'm not going to take the time for it.
No,
but-
we're not doing that.
Hell to the no.
Yeah. But if anybody wants to take on that challenge and let us know best 3-day golfer of all time, yeah, it might be Sergio Garcia without winning the 4th day.
You need to get the real golf nerd.
Well, if you think about on the 4th day with the wind projection and the
What sport has the most nerd fan base?
Baseball has to
I think
be.
it's baseball.
Yeah.
Got
Baseball or soccer, just because not a lot of people care about soccer. So, and the people that are big fans of soccer are like super into it. It's either one or the other. There's no like middle ground soccer.
I don't think the word for soccer though is nerd. Like baseball definitely has the most like nerds for there.
Analytics, yeah, math.
And I think soccer's more like snob, like soccer snob. If you talk to somebody who is and I like soccer, I do.
Yeah.
If you talk to somebody who's way into like European soccer, they will just downgrade everything you like about American football and any other sport and just tell you that you're just dead wrong about everything.
It's like craft beer people.
Yeah.
I think a lot of sports can have their claim to fame to different stuff. I think when it comes to nerds, as far as crunching numbers, at least from my experience, it's got to be baseball.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole Moneyball thing that's going on now. Sat with a kid a couple of weeks ago.
Too. Like, why do you need to know all this?
The defense was given to me.
All right, go ahead.
Okay.
It's all about numbers, and if you know the numbers, you're going to know
Yeah,
who's gonna win.
exactly. I was saying, but
And it
but
really
there's
was
no
said in that
need
voice.
to know that, though.
Sure.
And they're talking about war, and I'm like, is that a card game? I don't know what's going on. Like, yeah. So that to me, I think, as far as number crunching, is the biggest on the nerds.
Well, for betting, maybe that might
Yeah.
be a good idea. And that's really the only thing. It's like a highly betted sports, then you see people that are super nerds.
Soccer, I think, is for drunks and hotheads.
I can see
Number
that.
one.
Okay.
Yes.
I mean, especially when you look at the international game. But it suits in there with NASCAR. Would you say NASCAR's, got to be up there with the nerddom? Because you're talking about all kinds of, by the time you know the car and drafting and all this kind of stuff, I could see a lot of nerddom in NASCAR.
What is it, nerd or dork?
Is there a difference?
Is there a separation? I
don't
feel like there's a
know.
bit of a separation. Nerd might be like mathematical and some Rain Man stuff. NASCAR is dorky.
You are so mean to Suits, man. He's not in here to defend himself about NASCAR, and you are just killing him right now.
Because it's a dorky sport. It's just
All right.
it's fast traffic. I don't understand it. It's not really a sport.
Yeah, but you look at their fan base. I mean, do they seem like they're dorks? Like, to me, some of the baseball number crunchers, to me, seem like they're a little bit more nerdy.
Well, this
That's
man
what I
wears
see.
a suit to work every day.
Well, he
Yeah,
suits.
but he is not your typical, like, NASCAR fan. The guy who runs
he has all
Kevin's
his
other
teeth.
show on YouTube, yeah, no, he does not. He looks like a 45-year-old Jewish accountant. That's very fair.
Not your typical NASCAR fan.
No, he doesn't look like the typical NASCAR fan.
He like moonlights as a NASCAR fan.
Yeah, exactly. Miami Heat move into 7th place. Pretty big win.
Yay.
They had, yeah. No, I mean, it's all good. I don't know how excited I get. I mean, 125-103 over the Phoenix Suns last night.
They were a bad team.
Yeah, so I
But
don't
they
know.
usually lose to bad teams. This season, they've had a consistent run of
Same.
losing to bad teams.
Do the Heat make it out of the first round if they make the playoffs? Or are we just going to look at a team in and out?
It doesn't seem like it, man. I wish I could say they would make it out of the first round, but at this point, let's say they stick at 7. You're going to end up going against either Boston or Toronto, which I know sounds funny because we're not used to Toronto being awesome.
Yeah.
So
But they're the number 1 team in the East right now, and Boston's not going to be knocked out in the first round.
I think you just got to ask yourself, I mean, a team that really is devoid of superstars and a team that knew superstars just years ago,
Yeah.
how far do any of those teams often go if you don't have at least 1, 2, and now you need almost 3 to 4 superstars to run deep?
The last team I can think of that did that was pre-modern super team era was the 2004 Pistons, right? When they beat the Lakers and you had Rip Hamilton and Chauncey Billups and Ben Wallace.
Oh, did you say with multiple superstars?
Right.
Oh, I was going to say, because, I mean, the Dallas Mavericks that beat the Heat the first time around, I mean, the only real star they had was Dirk Nowitzki.
It was Dirk. I mean, they had a name. The Pistons really, at that point, nobody knew who Chauncey Billups was and Rip
Yeah.
Hamilton and Ben Wallace and Tayshaun
Yeah.
Prince.
Yeah.
You know, those weren't household. And they were going against Shaq and Kobe and Karl Malone and Gary Payton.
Right.
That's probably the last team
Yeah.
you can say
It
did
was
that.
actually a team. It was like 5 legit dudes that you really needed, and they were devoid of any major superstars.
I think
JJ
so.
Barea.
Jeez, don't say that name in my presence, JJ Barea.
Interesting little thing that Steve Kerr is throwing out that is kind of like along the same lines of what we talked a little bit about amateurism and college football and college sports just in general. And it just seems like everything right now is slanted so unfairly against players and kids that are trying to make a career out of this. And it is. It's a gambling game when they go into and decide to leave college for whatever draft that might happen. Because you've got senior bowls that happen and things like that go down. You've got all kinds of like rating systems. Steve Kerr says that unselected NBA draft players should be able to return to college.
I think it's a great idea.
It makes so much sense. I just don't understand. He says, why not? What's the harm? And you're right. You know, players are currently allowed to return to school if they pull out of the draft by a predetermined date and they can't hire an agent. But I've always said that, though, even into college, can we not let them hire an agent? I mean, if the agent can go out and get them money to sign and this and that, why not do it? The school's not paying.
Right.
It's a free market system. Why can't they do it?
The athlete has no right whatsoever in the NCAA, and this is just one of those things that needs to be changed because I actually agree with Steve Kerr on this. I mean, him and Popovich, I would say, are probably more of the two outspoken coaches in sports. They like to comment on a lot of things politically and whatever it may be socially. I think he's dead on with this. That's one of the things that I think that should be changed with the NCAA. More freedom for the players, man.
For lack of a better word, they're slaves.
That's kind of how they're. I mean, I hate to say it.
It's a crap word to use, but it's the truth.
I mean, now you'll have your opponents and say, well, no, because they're getting a free education, so they're getting something in return.
And Charles Barkley, the other day, did comment. He said, look, I just like the fact that I'm seeing these kids get a free education. That's great. He seems to be cool with that.
But what, for 1 year, though? You're not getting an education. What are they actually in school for, 9 months?
How many people are getting a college degree and coming out and are still unemployed, though?
I mean, this is very true.
It's happening more and more.
Or not unemployed, but paid all this money for a certain degree that they're not working in that. They have a job, but it's not in that field.
Is the value of a college education the same as what it was when Charles Barkley went to college back in the late 80s?
I mean, I don't know. I'm very finicky when it comes to college educations in the first place because you can be able to find trade schools are some of the best schools out there, and you can be able to put you right in the workforce.
Can argue the value on that. So, I mean, is the value actually the same, or are college tuitions way overpriced?
I think it's a scam, but that's just me.
Kerr did comment on the G League. He said, I think it's great. I think there's a lot of things that the league and the NCAA can collaborate on. The fact that the G League is getting stronger and stronger, we should provide that as an option for high school kids who maybe don't want to go to college. And you might see that more. Is the G League going to get stronger? Is college basketball going to be something that's going to slump in the next 10 years? What would that mean for March Madness? It's coming up right around the corner. Should the G League get stronger, or should we give more freedom to college ball and let these athletes do more of what they want to do? The NBA always looking for ways to make money. An interesting plan that would actually have your NBA looking a lot more like Suits' NASCAR. I'll explain coming up next.
Be part of the show on Twitter at 640 The Hurricane, hashtag Kevin's Other Show.
He's only playing this because it's a wrestling theme.
You like that?
Yeah.
Some CM Punk in there for you?
Yeah, that's the reason why Diener is doing this. The
Paul doesn't even know who sings this song.
He's the host of likely the only AM radio show about wrestling in America.
That's right.
If we check to find out if there's a second and where it is.
I don't think so. But if you find Bubba in somewhere in Idaho or something like that, maybe you might have.
Yeah.
It is just my show.
17-watt AM station. Goes from his house to his neighbor's house.
640 The Hurricane, baby. Me and Jack Gonzalez.
Bubba, I bought a transmitter. We can talk about wrestling now. Wrestling.
No surprise, Ronda Rousey announced her first match. It is going to be all the contrived hype that happened with Triple H and Stephanie McMahon, so she'll be teaming up with Kurt Angle.
Is this really that interesting?
Of course it is.
To that guy it is.
That's right.
But, like, I liked Red. Like, I grew up watching wrestling, a big fan of it, and I fell off of it because, I don't know, I grew up. But other than that, it was just, I just don't see some of these storylines are actually still pretty good. But I just don't see this.
Got to say, arguably, The Bachelor, pretty intense last night.
Okay.
I heard it was.
If they only added physical pain to that show.
It is physical pain to watch that show. What are you talking about? It's like trying to watch Vanderpump.
Vanderpump. Oh, my goodness. Hey, Jaybird would be happy about this, too, that we're talking wrestling.
Oh, I know, right?
Yeah, he's a big fan.
Absolutely.
So there you go. We got
Nerds
two. We got two of us.
I got a transmitter.
Maybe we
Bubba.
should, when we were talking about nerds earlier, maybe we should have thrown wrestling into the mix.
Yes.
Oh, I think so.
But see,
I'll say that.
Now that's the difference, though. Is it dork or nerds? Like I feel like there's a separation in there.
I think it's more dorky when you see a middle-aged dude that doesn't have a kid and he's at wrestling and he's dressed like the wrestler and has a sign. Come on, man. Really?
There's a lot of those, man.
There's a lot
Yeah.
of those. There's a lot of those. Yeah, honestly, that might be the dorkiest fan base.
Think so.
That's it.
Yeah, I think we
Think
saw
so.
it
And
right
then
here.
Toothless Tommy that goes to see NASCAR.
Yeah.
It's a pretty close one too.
So what do you think about the NBA trying to make some money, doing a little bit of a NASCAR move, advertising on jerseys? And do you see this transplanting into other sports? Do we care? I mean, the way that we have advertising thrown into our face always now. You can't go anywhere
Yeah.
with anything without seeing advertising. With Facebook and everything it is. Almost, it seems like NASCAR has no problem embracing it and do. And, you wear and do those sponsors has been successful there. Arguably hasn't done anything to ruin the sport. So,
It's got to be where they make a lot of their money.
yeah.
Well, if you think about it too, it's like you're an individual person as well. It's like a golfer going out and being sponsored by Titleist or something like that. It's like you wear the Reebok or you wear the Adidas because you're sponsored by that person. Same thing with the NASCAR. It's like the NASCAR drivers are all sponsored by different people, and that's how they make their money in order to be able to race.
Sure.
So it
Now,
makes sense.
what they're talking about doing right now is the LA Clippers are just one of the latest teams, and other teams that are doing it and deals to do it, but they've reached a deal with the dating app Bumble.
Oh my gosh.
Now, to try to sell it and make it palatable for everybody, they're lying and saying that their goal is to advance gender equality.
This is the biggest hunk of crap I've ever heard in my
Come
entire life.
on.
Are you kidding me?
That's not why you came together. You came together because they had the money and they need more clients, and you want more money because you're greedy.
I mean,
I don't necessarily, if a way to make the fan experience better, if it's a way to make the team better, if it just overall becomes a better product, I like it. But I think the problem that I have with this, it seems like it cheapens it. Am I going to be more likely or less likely to buy an NBA jersey if it's covered in all these sponsors, which will likely switch out from year to year? It'll even further date a shirt that you get for an NBA team.
That's true. Because then you'd be like, oh, you have the Bumble version of the Clippers jersey? That was from 3 years ago.
Well, and you think about what that means. If they started selling Bumble patches on the NBA jerseys, that's added money that they're going to make, and a ton of money. It's ultimately, we know this, it's going to pad the pockets of the people who don't need money. It's not going to make your team any better. They're probably not going to add new amenities in the arena. Nothing else is going to be cooler. I think the fans ultimately are going to suffer from this. I'd like to believe that maybe somehow they come out winning. I'm going to say this is a loss just for that reason.
Yeah, man, I don't like it because, and look, I get it. I'm not going to hate on it because it's sponsorship, it's money, blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, as a fan, you really want to be wearing that Dwayne Wade jersey that has the software company name on it?
That's why this is a loss, is because realistically, you're going to have to now start buying NBA jerseys with some of these patches on. I would say that's reality if they start selling them. And you look, the argument is at NASCAR, it didn't ruin NASCAR, but how many people are going out, except for our boy Suits, wearing a full pantsuit from top to bottom that is covered in patches? People don't go out and buy a NASCAR suit and wear it around a mall like they do an NBA jersey.
They're not buying a Eminem shirt for Kyle Busch. I think I got that right. I believe Kyle Busch drives the Eminem car.
Suits
I right about that?
Suits giving you a thumbs
Thumbs up. All right, I got it.
Nice work,
Fantastic,
my man.
nerd.
Yeah.
Friggin' nerd.
You for or against, is good or bad for the NBA and for fans ultimately?
It was fought for so long because they didn't want the NBA jersey to look like the WNBA. Because the WNBA, if you look at their jerseys, they legitimately look like NASCARs.
But legitimately have to.
But yeah, because they have to make the money, and that's the thing why. So now, this was fought for a while. They finally gave in. So a lot of teams, I'm trying to figure out if all the teams have it. But I know a majority of every team has it. Like Orlando has like Disney, Boston has General Electric. So they have the patches and all the things. But this one specific one seems funny to me because it's a dating
It's
website.
Bumble. Yeah, and maybe you were right.
And the false narrative on it, too.
Yeah, Orlando with Disney not that offensive, and it actually kind of makes sense. But I mean, what are you going to do? You're going to regulate and say you can only put on patches from local businesses that make sense? They're known with that city. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, I don't know.
WNBA is out of necessity. NBA seems like it's out of greed, and it seems like the fan base loses on this.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, not a fan of it.
And can I go back to Bumble's reasoning real quick? to promote gender equality?
No.
Are you kidding me?
You really want to promote gender equality, you liberal sucking city?
You
hey,
are-
how about you get sponsored by Grindr? Okay.
Yeah, might as well.
There you go, right there.
You might as
That
well.
will really, but that's gender equality. Now everybody gets involved.
It's a hookup app. It's Tinder. It's the same thing, except the women are going after the men instead of the men going after the women.
This is a hashtag
That's the gender
Me Too
equality.
waiting to happen.
Yeah.
That's their version of gender equality, is that the women are propositioning the men for
Right.
sex instead of the other way around.
Yeah,
My
welcome to
goodness.
LA, baby.
Oh, my gosh.
Do you like this marketing? Apparently, Florida is getting close to officially issuing a license plate celebrating UCF's national championship. Wait a minute, what?
Did that happen? Did we miss that?
Apparently.
Okay.
They are staking the claim, the undefeated champs of 2017, and it sounds like the plate will say national champions on it.
Yes. No, they will.
I get it, and it's fun, and it's a Florida thing, and
Yeah.
it's a fun, little argument when you look at the fact they were undefeated and who they wound up beating in the bowl game and how Georgia wound up doing, and
I mean,
Auburn
granted,
and-
it's a decent argument against the playoff system.
yes,
100% a decent argument
Right.
against a playoff system. But this is a bit too far.
it's campy, it's spoofy, it feels like a lie.
Well, it is a lie, first
and
of all.
it makes you
let's
look
just-
silly. Be like, "Hey, you're not national champs. You can say it all day long. You can try to have a movement for it, but it doesn't work.
Do you think the UCF players are going, yeah, we're national champs?
Yes.
Really?
Oh, yeah, they
I
believe
do.
it.
Yes, I do.
That
They,
makes it so
no,
much
they believe that
harder.
wholeheartedly.
I think they are, and I get it. And you're right. The argument is, should there have been a way that they should have gotten a shot?
Yeah,
And that was it.
because they weren't part of the big conferences. They didn't get their shot.
And probably the argument is, okay, do we need to expand the conferences so that they allow teams in like UCF? I mean, can they legitimately play? But, some people say, hey, if you had to go through, and keep in mind what you got to do in the 14 playoffs still,
Yeah.
is you've got to win 2 really tough games.
Mm-hmm.
UCF wants to claim this. You beat what? Was Auburn they beat?
Auburn,
In the
right?
bowl game.
Okay, who beat Georgia. So
And Alabama.
Okay, and Alabama. So you did that, but you're playing that game of I begot who beat who. And
Yeah.
that's a silly game to play. The ultimate is 1 week you've got to play a top 4 team in the country, and then the following week you've got to play another top 4 team in the country. And you've got to survive the gauntlet of both
Yeah.
before you can get it. And that's after making the top 4.
Do any of these teams sound like top 4 teams to you? FIU,
No.
Maryland,
No.
Memphis, Cincinnati, East Carolina,
No, but
Navy.
but
These
the
are all
problem is-
undefeated teams, I assume?
These are all the teams that UCF beat last year
Oh.
in the
Yeah.
regular season.
Oh,
Connecticut,
okay, no.
Temple.
Right.
That was their schedule. So that's the knock against them is
Yeah.
that, and it's not their fault. I mean, that's their schedule. It's the conference they play in. They have to play Connecticut and Temple and SMU.
And so the argument is saying, well, the Big 12's not allowing anybody in right now. They're not allowing UCF in. And so, it's like they're excluded to play. It's like the whole playground argument. Be like going, hey, I'm as good as you kids on the playground. You just won't pick me in dodgeball.
Pretty much.
Yeah, but I could play. The plate still has to be approved by the state Senate, and then Governor Rick Scott gets it. But it could be out there. UCF national champs cost you $25 if you want to drive around with lies all over your car. Go for it.
Pass through the House.
This
Not through the Senate yet.
It's going to happen because after UCF beat Auburn, Rick Scott put out a statement on the Florida website congratulating UCF as the national champions.
Yeah, it's fun, it's campy, but
Yes.
it's like, how far are we going to take this?
I don't
Now
know.
we
He
got a
might take
license
it-
plate.
He might take it this far.
I just
Yeah.
don't know who was sitting in the House, and they're passing gun legislation. They're passing all this stuff like that. And they're like, UCF is getting national championship winners. Like, yeah, sure, just throw that in there too. Who cares? We're just passing everything today.
Well, for the college football tip, real quick, Canes spring game announced going to be at Hard Rock Stadium April 14th, 6 p.m. Different than what they did. Last year they did at Boca High because they didn't have the stadium all ready to go, and they didn't really even do like a spring game. It was kind of more just a regular practice. But this year going to look a lot more like an actual spring game. You can check out, and they're going to be starting spring practice on campus coming up in 2 weeks from today on the 20th. So game going to be free and open to the public if you want to check that out. Coming up here, what are some of the weirdest things that bodybuilders do? A lot of things. And Diener's diet already in trouble. We'll tell you about it next.
You can tell his wife, just don't tell those other guys. It's Kevin's Other Show on 640 The Hurricane.
What is this?
Come on, man.
Sweat rock.
That's right. Perfect for the bodybuilding topic.
It does. Yes.
Little Sammy Hagar in there.
There's a story around today about this woman. It's got a pretty good little side business. 24-year-old mom of two has made more than $6,000 simply selling her breast milk to men.
Fantastic.
$6,000. Hey, I guess, if you can make that much, my goodness, that's a ton of breast milk. 132 gallons.
That's a lot of breast.
132
Wow.
gallons. I'd like to see mom versus cow. Like, what is the comparison?
Yeah, that's not bad, man. 132 gallons.
It's pretty impressive.
It is. That's a lot of milk.
That is a ton of milk. 132 gallons. 24-year-old mom, $6,000 she's made from 132 gallons of breast milk.
Man.
And she had so much extra that she's like, yeah, I'm just going to go on the internet, start selling it. And lo and behold, men started buying it. Started off with bodybuilders. And their argument was they wanted to build muscle mass. I don't know why they feel like breast milk is going to be better than just, regular protein shakes. Does that make any sense?
I mean, if you figure the baby needs it to grow and stuff, I guess it's just really friggin' weird.
But you can't get that with the muscle milk? I mean, you gotta.
It's not as pure. It's not from the
Are you really trying to reason this out?
teat.
Are you trying to reason this out right now?
I mean, I don't really know what the hell's going
Okay.
on with this.
When you
It's a
know-
very bizarre story.
But you know what? Bodybuilders do some of the weirdest things
Can
in the
only
name of
imagine.
trying to put on muscle. Well, I mean, I don't know what it is. It's almost like they've got a thing with babies because you'll see. No, I mean, a lot of the body building market goes for a lot of baby products. Talk about the breast milk. They also eat a lot of baby food.
Really?
Yes. Baby food because it's pretty much like all natural. You will see bodybuilders sitting there eating baby food like right out of the jar.
So they bring their protein packs and their tumblers and their Gerbers.
They will. Yeah, they will.
It's very odd.
No,
Have you seen this in the gym? Like, have you seen guys eating little things of Gerber?
when I had about maybe 6 months where I was a complete meathead. And
Okay.
I actually bought baby food. At the
Oh, so you
suggestion
did it.
of guys.
No, you
Yeah.
did it?
I did. It was disgusting. And there's certainly
Creamed carrots.
Yeah, there came a point where you're just like, what am I doing? I think that was it. I was just like, it was so like, ooh, I was so massive when I walked. It's like the ground shook, and I'm like, what am I doing? It was just,
Not only that, it's got to be awkward shopping at Publix. Like, oh, how old is he or she? Like, oh, we don't have a baby.
it's.
Meanwhile, you have 14 things of Gerber baby food.
That's kind of it. It
Yeah.
was so weird. Yeah, here I was, like, grown dude in his 30s buying baby food, and there's no baby around, and they're just assuming,
for that.
Yeah. And they're buying breast milk offline. Yeah, some of the stuff that I've heard, the bodybuilder stories are absolutely insane, the things that they do. I went so far as I did the baby food. I did the gallon jug that you carry around, which is so annoying, and you are peeing constantly.
yeah.
Gallon jug of water.
Yeah, you take around.
did
Yeah,
that
so
too,
there's
yeah.
the signs of like when you're a meathead, and there's like a checklist that you can do. Have you ever bought baby food? Yes. Have you ever bought breast milk off the internet? Yes.
You bought breast milk off the internet?
No, I didn't. But
Oh,
these
I
is
was
a
gonna
checklist on
say.
how you know you're a meathead.
Very worried about you now.
That one is unchecked for you personally.
Unchecked
Yes.
personally, yes.
Okay,
And
let's
you
say
had-
that out loud.
You had the giant gallon jug of water.
Giant gallon jug
Okay.
of water.
I
I've
did
done
that too, though, because I wanted to continue to be hydrated. I felt like I wasn't drinking enough water, and I wasn't going out and working out all the time, but I just like water, and I drank a gallon.
You needed a gallon to feel hydrated?
Yeah, man.
All right.
Drank a lot of beer.
Okay. Well, see, there's the underlying issue right
Yeah.
there.
He had to hydrate for other reasons. One of the other crazy stories, I worked out with these cop guys, huge, big old bodybuilder dudes, and they had where they did legs. They had just bought like an industrial garage somewhere, and you see a lot, like you're at a hardcore gym when it's like in an industrial park. You pull in, there's just those huge fans, and it's just
Yes.
steel and chains.
That's
and that's
right.
pretty
You're
much
next to
all
like
it is.
a secondhand mechanic and stuff like that.
And so I go one time to work out with these guys. I mean, guys are just like, they're like, there's not enough plates at the regular gym for us when we do legs. And so they need to strap on just mountains of plates. And they would do a rep, 2 reps, whatever. They would come up. It was so crazy. They had an oxygen tank. And they would be losing their oxygen. They were exerting so much oxygen. When they would come up, somebody would slap an oxygen mask on their face so they could breathe, try to get their breath, and then do another rep. And I'm like going, what's wrong with these people? I mean, at some point, that's
That's when you called it quits.
the insane. Yeah, it was just. I started looking around. I started asking myself. I started looking at the
What am I
checklist.
doing?
I was looking at the checklist. I'm like, I'm buying baby food. I'm carrying around a gallon jug of milk. I'm doing hits of oxygen in between reps.
Wow, man.
I start going, what am I doing?
You had like that moment of realization.
It's getting out of control. You're like, how badly do I need to? Oh, and not to mention too,
man.
half my wardrobe was affliction shirts.
Oh, of
Oh,
course. Yeah.
Ed
just
Hardy and
it just was
Affliction.
so awful. I started looking at everything. I'm like,
You have 4 pairs of the same color train boots.
I think someone finally had an intervention. They started being like, dude, you may not realize how ridiculous you're getting right now. And not to mention, too, they said you're pink. Like you're like a weird hamster pink. It's like, you just like.
Your hue has turned
you-
to a prostate.
You've got a
pink.
very, very odd like coloring going on.
A lot of
Wearing
them changing.
affliction shirts.
Did you have the tap out shirts? Were you doing tap out too?
I had everything.
You had it all?
I had all
Okay.
this kind of stuff. They're like,
He
look
was a
what-
couple weeks from a tattoo. Are you kidding me?
Oh, it
Wow.
was insane. It was insane. And then another crazy story that I heard was bodybuilders that would roofie themselves.
What?
Yes, because, and here's the whole thing. Whatever that drug is, it
Rufalin.
starts with D something or other. It's it got like a legal like pharmaceutical name.
Okay.
Diazepam?
Roofies is what we
that it?
have.
Why do you know that offhand like that?
Yeah.
It's a little
Yeah.
weird.
Do
Like,
not
even
accept
if-
it. Yeah.
No.
Don't take your drinks from Ricky.
What? No, I'm just saying. No, it's not.
Here, this is
My
Diazepam.
God, guys.
You know, even if I knew the answer to that, I would not have said it. But you did. Good
Okay,
for you.
so here's what they would do is some of these bodybuilders, because it puts you in a deep state of sleep.
Right.
Sleep means muscle recovery, thus more muscles, bigger body, tighter affliction shirts,
That's
everything
right.
else. And so the story was this one bodybuilder that goes into a KFC, and on top of it, like he wanted the mashed potatoes because he was able to get all that, carbolicious goodness to
course.
get himself all fueled up. Does his workout, roofies himself, goes to KFC, times it out all wrong, gets a huge bowl of mashed potatoes, boom, passes out face first into the mashed potatoes. He's down at a KFC, and you're looking over at this massive man that is sleeping in a bowl of mashed potatoes, and then you start to realize he's distressed. You have to go and fish him out of his mashed potatoes, and they had to carve the mashed potatoes out from within his nostrils because he was asleep and like sorting. He was snorting.
suffocating.
He almost drowned
Oh
in
my
a bowl
gosh.
of mashed potatoes. I'm like going, at that point, don't you say enough is enough?
That's what they said to Governor Chris Christie. That's so funny.
All right. How badly do I need this?
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's some of the insanity.
Imagine having to go pick that man up, too.
Oh, I know.
You're just
'Cause
like some dude at KFC.
probably very unfit people. The rest of them in this KFC trying to fish this large body out of this plate of mashed potatoes. You gotta think, what am I doing here? Now, Dina, I understand you just started a diet.
I did.
What is
I
this
did.
diet?
It's
very
destined to fail. I mean, that's the first thing.
Well,
What does
that's
it
what.
consist of?
Well, that's what you need. Positivity. Start off with. What are you doing for it?
You know, I'm just cutting back, man. Like I'm not having the KFC mashed potatoes anymore. You know, a little protein shake in the
Well,
morning.
you're finally off of the baby milk, thank God. So
yeah, no
we're
more
off of
no more
that.
baby milk. Staying away from that. It's
Okay.
a little too much fat in the baby milk.
Okay.
And yeah, just some turkey jerky, a lot of tuna, a lot of fish. Got some salmon last night.
Okay.
Pretty proud of myself
So
for
is
that.
this just kind of like your own homegrown diet, like what you think is going to work?
Yeah, it's
So you're
it's-
just eating not like crap.
That's right.
Okay.
Yes.
I feel like
and
that's
just,
a good diet.
Just eating less. Just eating a lot less to the
Okay.
point where it might be dangerous.
Really?
So we'll see how this works out.
Sounds like you really thought this out.
We're going to need to bring the oxygen tank in for him.
I don't understand. I don't even get the strategy of what his diet is. I don't know what. I'm not
It's
really
like
sure what this
everything I
is.
was eating, I'm cutting that in half, and then I'm
much.
starving.
Is it like any kind of like scientific basis for this, or just what it seems to make sense?
Yeah, just what makes sense. A lot of water, some watermelon.
Okay.
Throwing that in there.
All right.
The paycheck got thinner. That's what makes sense.
Okay. That's a great diet plan, actually. Yeah.
Out of necessity.
All right, boy, Dick Vitale, he is in love with a pop star. And hey, when you got a blowout on your hands, why not talk about pop music? That's what Dick Vitale went off with. You'll hear it next.
You can tell his wife, just don't tell those other guys. It's Kevin's Other Show on 640 The Hurricane.
I mean, it seems odd that a Metallica song like this, you would have Lady Gaga on it. But did you see that award show where she jumped in on this song?
Yes, that's right.
It actually was really good.
She is a chameleon of music, man.
By concept, you're going Lady Gaga on a Metallica song shouldn't work, and it worked fantastic,
Dude,
actually.
I mean, she could go up with Metallica with Tony Bennett, or she can sing Poker Face, and it just sounds good.
Yeah, they had technical issues on this, so
I remember
it
that.
ultimately didn't kind of work out. But
Well, that proves how old Metallica fans are, that they're willing to accept that. Because if they try to do that in the '80s, they would have got booed off stage. They tried to bring a pop star on with them.
Yeah.
They were the most metal band ever. Their name is Metallica, for Christ's sake.
I know, right? Yeah.
So Madonna performing with Metallica in 1988 wouldn't have worked, is what you're saying? I think that would have been cool.
I don't think it would have been cool.
No?
It's a new age, man.
That's right.
That's how accepting the world has become.
That's
Hey,
right.
we've got Bumble on NBA jerseys now.
All about equality.
Gender equality.
What do you think about this Foo Fighters mashup here? They've done a mashup of Imagine and Van Halen's Jump.
Really?
Okay.
Okay.
So we're all right with Lady Gaga and Metallica together. What
Yeah.
about this little mix right here?
What? What?
I don't even know what.
Brings me down.
Okay, I don't know.
You got it down.
Oh.
I ain't the toughest around.
No.
And I know
Oh.
just how you feel. You gotta roll.
This is
to keep the bugs real. Can't you see them on the field? I'm a back against a wrecking machine.
That part actually
I mean,
was. That one
imagine.
part.
Can't you see what I mean?
I just have a feeling it's going to get worse right here.
Oh my Bro, what are you doing?
I like anything he does. That was weird.
I
Yes.
love everything he does except that.
yeah,
except
that
that.
was.
That might be the first thing I've ever heard of. I was like, oh, I was expecting a lot of.
We found the outlier.
Wow, wow.
I mean,
okay.
like, I'm excited for the Foo Fighters concert. I think it's next month down here, right? It's at
yeah, it's
whatever
coming
the
up.
Coral Sky, whatever it's called now.
Yeah.
There's all so many different names.
It's coming up.
I just really hope they don't do that.
Yeah.
I don't want them to do that live, please.
No. Mm-mm.
My gosh.
Well, that was fun for our ears.
Well, this is another unlikely pairing. Dick Vitale talking about pop music.
Oh, good.
Not something you'd expect, but
Okay.
guess what? Gonzaga was up by 25 points, and so he had a little bit of time to kill, and really nobody's watching the game at this point. Everybody's left, and so he's like, he figured it'd be a great time for him to start talking about Jennifer Lopez. Here's what Dick Vitale had to say.
Play. Jeremy Jones getting some PT, some playing time right here. Let me tell you, when you come back to Vegas one time, you got to go see Jennifer Lopez.
Wait, what?
I just love how he's doing the play-by-play. And he's like, "Oh, hang on one second."
All of a sudden, it's like he's riffing on commercials for Vegas. Come see Jennifer Lopez.
I mean, I haven't seen energy. She is the dance and music. Well, LeBron is the absolute basketball.
What are you doing? What are you
He
doing?
is to dance and music what LeBron is to basketball.
Is this like a Bill Walton type thing where Dave Pass just runs right over it and says, "Here's the starting five"? Is
Yeah.
that-
No.
No.
No?
That's the best part about this whole entire thing is that that's what you think would happen, but it doesn't.
They are so unplugged from this game. Yeah. It just goes on.
What'd you do during intermission of that show? Which nugget did you uncover?
You're not going to believe this, but a beautiful young lady, my wife is sitting next to me, asked me to dance to some of the Motown sound.
Asked me to dance to some of the Motown sound.
Does J Lo have Motown sound?
I don't know if Dick, I'm not sure if J-Lo's Motown. I don't know, unless she's doing something different these days.
And I was dancing, man. Talk about a mismatch. Trying to compare my dancing with some of these people that can dance. That's a mismatch. I'm trying to read these numbers and you bring.
Now he's back to the game.
Now he's back to the
Talk
game.
about a mismatch.
The last 3-4 seconds of that sound, when you hear the cheerleaders,
Yeah.
did you hear how empty the place was? It sounded like a high school basketball game.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, hey, look, I mean, when somebody's completely dialed out, you probably been, it was what, I think 25-point lead at the time that
Yeah.
Gonzaga had, so it's like nobody cares.
It was just echoing, like the cheerleaders were echoing because the building was so
Yeah.
empty.
Oh,
That
yeah.
is- I guess now we know why he was talking about J-Lo.
Well, I think the reason why he's talking about J-Lo, he went on, he was fanboying because A-Rod, I think, had sent him a text and
Yeah,
invited
that's
him.
why. I think he tweeted out
Yeah.
something about J-Lo, and then
Yeah.
A-Rod sent him a text.
Yeah, so he was, you know,
It's just too. I just like you would think that the other announcer would be like, all right, let's get back to the game, and he continued to ask him. So what'd you do during the intermission?
Yeah, he went in on it. Like he got in depth asking about his J-Lo experience.
That's how much. Yeah, he was out of it too. He could care less. No one at all. How about how you feel if the other team playing Gonzaga? No one even cares about what's going on here. Yeah,
that's wow.
Cool thing happened. We talked a little bit about Stoneman Douglas hockey team that was at the BB&T hanging with the Panthers before their win on Sunday night. I just saw this. I thought it was kind of cool. The Panthers are going to help to fly the team out. You know, they're in the Nationals now. They won the Florida State Championship.
Yeah.
It's going to be in Minnesota March 22nd through the 26th, and the Panthers apparently going to help pick up the tab on that.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah,
Nice.
which is very cool.
Wow.
And the other thing I hadn't seen either was they had the Stanley Cup that was there, the BB&T.
I saw pictures. Yeah.
Yeah, so the Stoneman Douglas team got to get some photos with the Stanley Cup. You're actually allowed to touch that trophy. Hello, MLB.
Nudge, nudge.
Kiss it, do whatever you want with that
Well,
thing.
have you seen it though? It's a bit more sturdy. The MLB trophy is very dainty.
It is dainty.
They made it way too dainty.
It's kind of commentary on the two sports, isn't it?
Yeah, because like the NBA trophy, you can touch that. I mean, like that's
True.
That's a legit trophy.
Yeah, go for it, baby.
The MLB trophy is all me.
You're still kind of sour about this, though. I know you are.
Salty.
Yeah, you are
I'll
kind
be
of
salty for a while.
Yeah.
Very salty.
As salty as that baby food. you
Very,
see.
yes. Also want to throw a shout-out, too, to the Oxbridge Girls Class 5A Basketball Championship.
Sweet.
Wow.
Yes, so congrats on them. They continue to dominate and do great in just about
Dominate.
everything.
Yeah, Oxbridge, man, they are just.
It's a different level, and I was talking to somebody about a week or so ago. Their facilities are so amazing that sometimes they hold events where it might be one of those regional things where other players can come in, and sometimes the coaches of those other places don't want their players going there because when they do, Oxbridge can be like, hey, how would you like to have this on a regular basis?
Wow.
It's
Wow.
like they're recruiting.
I mean, how many high schools do you know that has, I think it's about a $2 million stadium. I
Is
think
it
it was
really?
Yeah, I think it was the
It's intense.
owner of the Buffalo Bills. I think paid for it. His grandkid goes
Oh,
there.
okay.
So they've got a great AstroTurf. They've got a jumbotron. I mean, how many high schools? How many high schools do you know do that?
Oxbridge has a jumbotron.
Yeah, I got a jumbotron.
Wow.
Yeah,
For them.
It's the facility. I don't know of a school that would be even close. So. Congrats to them on that. You got somebody else that needs a shout out. You can let us know about it. Just hit us up. It's Kevin at 640thehurricane.com, 640thehurricane2. Find us on Twitter. Find us wherever. You can do it on Facebook as well. And make sure you check out the YouTube show, Kevin's other show, and now Diener swears he's got it all set up
think
on
we're good.
Podbean correctly.
So if we don't receive any emails, every number,
Yep.
then he gets his number. But if we do receive an email, every number except for one
That's
Yes.
what I'm going to do.
tomorrow.
blow up his phone. We'll find out tomorrow.
Hopefully it's good.
You listened to him on the KVJ show for years. Every time he tried to talk sports, he'd get shut down. After years of begging, we finally gave in. Brought to you by Wellington Anti-Aging. Low T? Go to wellingtonantiaging.com. And by Bremen Motor Cars in West Palm Beach. A world-class experience. Shop BremenPorsche.com now. It's Kevin's Other Show on 640 The Hurricane.